What's up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to get hit with the truth. So today we are doing the Benavidez versus Plant breakdown video, as David Benavidez is set to collide with Caleb Plant on Saturday, March 25th in the main event of a Showtime pay-per-view card, excuse me. And it'll be for the WBC Interim Super Middleweight title. Now, before we get to that, guys, you can smash the like button, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. I really would appreciate any and all support that you can give me. You know, I really enjoy doing all this stuff. You know, boxing is really one of my passions. So, you know, if you could show some love, I'd appreciate it. Anyways, back to Plant and Benavidez. So, basically, with my breakdown videos, I'm going to talk about the fight and what it means first. Then, you know, I will go into each fighter individually. We usually go with the, in a title fight, champion and challenger. In a non-title fight, it's, you know, favorite and underdog. In this case, Plant is technically the interim champion. So, I mean, Benavidez is. So, Benavidez will go first and then Plant second. I asked the same, I think, 5 questions. I talk about what they've done coming into the fight, and then I give my, you know, I ask, is it better for boxing if one or the other wins? And then I give my prediction on the fight. So let's jump into it now and start, you know, and see what does this fight mean? Well, it's a huge fight at super middleweight. It really is, because you have two top 3, 4, you know, after Canelo, I got Benavidez number 2, but it's close. And I think I got Caleb Plant at number 4 right now, number 3 or 4, along with John Ryder right there. And Canelo's fighting Ryder, and, you know, Benavidez and Plant are colliding. So this is a huge fight right here. It's for the interim title. The winner is, you know, pretty much guaranteed a title shot. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to happen, especially with Canelo being undisputed. The winner's probably going to have to wait for Canelo, but that at least lines them up officially with the title shot that eventually, you know, could be ordered. And, you know, and I really believe, especially if it's Benavidez, that the Canelo showdown could happen by next year. You know, it could be a possibility. But, you know, we'll see. At the very least, it guarantees a title shot at some point. And it really does give each one of these guys probably their career best win, if you realistically look at it. So, definitely, in my opinion, this is the biggest fight of Benavidez's career, and it's the second biggest of Plant's career, and it could lead to Plant's biggest victory. You know, so we'll see, but definitely a big fight. Now, let's start with the interim champion, David Benavidez, first. And what has he done coming into this fight? Well, basically, his last 3 fights date back to March of 2021. He defeated, I believe it was Ronald Ellis by 11th round stoppage. Kind of so-so performance. He dominated the action, but he was kind of supposed to. So the fact that it went 11 rounds was surprising, but he got the win. He followed that up, I believe, in November of 2021 and took on Kyrone Davis on Showtime, dominated him. But, I mean, Davis was in the fight, showed a lot of heart, but Benavidez got him out of there in 7 rounds and stayed undefeated again. And then in his last bout last year against David Lemieux, he pretty much just walked through David Lemieux, stopping him in 3 rounds and capturing the interim title in the process. I think he captured it. Yeah, I think, you know, he won the belt, but, you know, that one was pretty quick work. So he's rolling. I mean, he's undefeated. He's 26-0, 23 knockouts. So definitely confident as hell and excited to be landing the biggest fight of his career here against Caleb Plant. Now, what kind of style does Benavidez need to have to win the fight versus Caleb Plant? Well, it's not as big a size difference as people might think. He's only 1 inch taller, and he's only got a ½ inch reach advantage. So for Benavidez, it's got to be, he needs to put the pressure on. He needs to get in there But he also needs to cut the ring off, because Caleb Plant is going to try to box. He's going to try to counterpunch. But I also think Caleb Plant might try to exchange at moments. And when he does that, I think Benavidez really needs to take advantage. But if I'm Benavidez, because you know Benavidez is going to be coming forward, he needs to establish a jab coming in. If he can establish that jab and cut the ring off and not let Caleb Plant get away from him, I really think he could make a big impact and win this fight. But we got to wait and see. It's going to be interesting, going to be a good fight, and I'm looking forward to it. So I'm personally, I think Benavidez has, that's the kind of style he needs to have right there. And it really just needs to be about breaking Caleb Plant down, in order to stop him, not going in there and looking for that one-punch knockout early on. He needs to make sure he's in really good shape, because Plant's used to going deep into fights, and I think he'll be successful that way. But he absolutely needs to test Caleb Plant early too, though. He doesn't need to get in there and get into a boxing match. He needs to try to be the boxer puncher that he is, see if there are a speed advantage or power, a big power difference. He needs to get in there and test Caleb Plant's power, because after Caleb Plant knocked out Anthony Durrell, he might be looking to land a big shot to prove that he's got some pop. So we'll see. But that's my opinion on what Benavidez needs to do. Now, can David Benavidez win this fight by knockout? I think he can. I think he has good one-punch power. I think he has the speed to be able to catch Plant at any moment, and that might, he might be able to hurt him with one punch. But definitely, if he can wear down Caleb Plant and break him down, and that's why body work needs to be his key, I think he can stop him. Can Benavidez win a decision? I think he can, but I think it's going to be interesting to see if this fight goes 12, what the score is, because I definitely believe I don't know if it's going to be a blowout. I think Caleb Plant has the physical gifts to be able to compete with Benavidez if this fight goes 12. So I think he can win a decision, but I'm not sure he can win a wide decision against Plant. Now, what does a win here mean for David Benavidez? Well, it means everything. A win elevates him, absolutely with a stamp. He's number 2 behind Canelo in the division. He guarantees himself an eventual shot, but he becomes the darling in the PBC that they're going to have to run through him if they want to get to Canelo, because he's first in line, but like in the second half of the year, probably won't get a Canelo fight. So Charlo, Andre, those dudes are going to have to go through Benavidez next in order to sure up that shot with Canelo. So it really gives him a big draw and a name, and guys are going to have to fight him, and not avoid him anymore. So it really is big for him if he can beat, if he wins a fight. Now, what does a loss mean? A loss really would devastate Benavidez right now. That would not be good for him at this point, because he's right there knocking on the door of a potential Canelo showdown and a pure main event pay-per-view type status, not just pay-per-view on not just Showtime main events, but pay-per-view main events, and that's big. So now, and not to mention it would be his first loss, and he's right there with Canelo. He would have to start over, and that would really probably ruin an eventual Canelo fight. Now, we move on to Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant rolling into this one. His last 3 fights date back to January of 2021, when he defeated Caleb Truax to retain the IBF super middleweight title. At the time, he was still champion. Following that, that was kind of a so-so performance. Then in November of that year, he got the shot at Canelo for the undisputed title, and we all know what happened there. Canelo broke him down and knocked him out in the 11th round, handing him his first loss. But he bounced back big in October of last year on the Wilder Helenius pay-per-view undercard, when he took on former 2-time champion Anthony Durrell, and brutally knocked him out in what I believe was the knockout of the year. That really put everybody back on notice about Caleb Plant. So that was a big win right there for him, and it got him right back. And that really gained his confidence back. Now he has no problem. I think he hesitated on fighting Benavidez 4. Now I think he's fully confident and ready to go, and he's definitely wanting this fight. He's talking shit. Caleb Plant is kind of in that you know, hey, I need to be here in this moment kind of thing. So he's definitely riding confidence and is pumped up for this fight. Now, what kind of style does Caleb Plant need to have to win this fight? Well, Caleb Plant really needs to be more of a boxer puncher than just a boxer in this fight. But he also needs to see what advantages he has early on. Now, we know he's only an inch shorter, so he's right there, and he's only a half inch on reach. So now it becomes about speed and power and ability, you know, and pure talent, and stamina. You know, he does not need to allow Benavidez to break him down to the body. That's what hurt him against Canelo. It really did. Canelo was able to break him down, and that absolutely hurt his chance at a victory. Now, so body work needs to be huge for Benavidez. I mean, you know, he needs to avoid getting hit to the body as much as possible. So that means he also needs to work body, but he needs to get in, get out kind of deal. I think he should be the counter puncher, but also sit down on his punches and exchange a little bit with Benavidez to try to test him out and see what kind of chin Benavidez has, because Anthony Durrell always had a good chin, and Caleb Plant knocked him the fuck out. Caleb Plant has shown power in the past when he sits down on his punches, but he's also shown more pitter-patter type punches. So his last fight, that knockout power should give him a lot of confidence rolling into this fight with Benavidez, that he might need to sit down on his punches, and he definitely needs to be good to go for 12 and be ready for an all-out war. Now, can Caleb Plant win this fight by knockout? My honest answer is I don't know. The power he showed against Durrell, what kind of chin does Benavidez have? You know, it's going to be interesting to see if Caleb Plant can hurt David Benavidez. I'm leaning towards the no, but man, I didn't think he was going to knock out Durrell either. I really didn't think that was going to happen. And he did it, and he brutally knocked him out. So I guess it's possible, but we just got to wait and see. Can Caleb Plant win by decision? I think that's more likely, but even that is going to be tough. I really don't think it's going to be a blowout if he wins a decision against Caleb Plant. I mean, against Benavidez. I don't see that happening. Now, what does a win mean for Caleb Plant? It means everything. It puts him right back at the front of the line, knocking on the door for a Canelo rematch. I mean, what's bigger than that? That's huge. It definitely would be the biggest win of his career. Caleb Plant's a former champ, but his biggest wins to date are the knockout of Durrell last year and the win over Jose Ustadegui years ago to capture the title originally. So this would absolutely be the biggest win of his career, and it would make him the interim champ and line himself up for somebody big in the second half of the year, and then potentially a Canelo rematch next year. And I'm not 100% Canelo wouldn't go for that. I think Canelo might fight him again. So, you know, I think the possibility's there. It lines him back up. And if Canelo doesn't fight him, he's a world champion again, and everybody's got to run through him if Canelo decides to move up in weight or something like that. So, yeah, definitely a big deal if Caleb Plant wins. It's huge for him. What does a loss mean? It would depend on how he loses the fight, to be honest. I think if he were to get blown out and get his ass whipped, then Caleb Plant might need to start thinking about what he does going forward if he moves up in weight to finish out his career, you know, and make another run there at 175. Like I said, it just really depends on how he loses. If he loses a close one, though, he's still in the mix. He just, again, would have to start over, so it would take him a minute to work himself back in. But Caleb Plant is a guy that was in there against Canelo. Guys are going to be willing to test him out, especially if he were to get his ass whipped. So, you know, it just depends. But he's also not the favorite going into this fight. So a loss, you know, it might not be as bad as, you know, as people think. But again, it just would depend on how he loses. Now, the final two things. First, is it better for boxing if Benavidez wins this fight or if Caleb Plant wins this fight? And for me, that's easy. It's better if Benavidez wins. He's younger. He's 26. He's an undefeated Mexican fighter, you know, and he's got a great knockout ratio. So fight fans are going to want to see that more. Plus, you know, what's on the table here? What's the prime thing on the table here? Canelo. I don't think the fans are going to want to see Canelo in Plant 2. We've already been there. You know, people would want that. But people would be salivating for a Canelo Benavidez fight. So I really believe that that's, you know, that it's better for boxing across the board if David Benavidez wins this fight. Now, what's my prediction? My honest prediction, doesn't matter if it's better for boxing if Benavidez or not. I give an honest prediction. My prediction on this fight is that David Benavidez is going to win. Caleb Plant is good, but he showed me, you know, he obviously has power too. So I do think he's a very live underdog. If this fight would have happened before the Durrell fight, I would have thought that Benavidez was a big favorite. Now, not so much. I think he's a favorite. He's a solid favorite, but I do not think he's a overwhelming favorite like I thought before. I really believe Caleb Plant has a serious shot, but I think David Benavidez is going to get in there. He's going to work the body and land good headshots. I think the speed and his aggressiveness is going to be the key here, and I just don't think Plant at 30 is going to be able to move and stay away from him and be able to score points without getting hit. So I just think David Benavidez' punch output, as long as his stamina is there, is going to be the difference here. And I think he stops Caleb Plant in the late rounds to keep the interim belt and potentially punch a ticket to Canelo Alvarez. But we'll see. So that's it, guys. That's my Benavidez versus Plant breakdown video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the like button, leave a comment, or subscribe to the channel. I appreciate any and all support. This is True Boxing. You've been hit with the truth.